When I was in Suffolk, I took over a youth club. It was a tough youth club. The last person who had been employed there had been tied up and put outside in the rain and left there. So I entered the club and there were just 5 lads there. A couple of 16-year-olds, 17, 18-year-old and a young 22-year-old. And these lads had dominated the whole of the club and run it to the ground. Everyone was terrified of them. And of course, when I went in, they threatened me. I took no notice of it. Notice of them. I just said, asked them their names, and they told me, and I said, okay, fine. And went to my committee and spoke to them and asked them for the name, the address of 3 of the lads who were brothers. I thought I'd deal with those. And the father, what was his address? So he gave it to me, and 2 nights later I knocked on the door. Big man. I opened it. I told him who I was. And I said, could I speak to you? He said, yeah, come on in. And turned out that he was a Londoner like myself, and we talked about London and bits and pieces, and then he said, well, what's the problem? So I said, well, look, I've just taken over the youth club, and I said, I told him what happened to the other leader. I told him I'd been running into the ground and no one would go there, and I also said that that I'd been threatened by the lads, and I said that wasn't acceptable. And he said, right. He said, you won't have any problems from them at all. He said, I'll sort it. He said, when they come down there, if they come down there, the young ones come down there, he said they will be respectful of you. And I said, thanks, that's really good. I really appreciate it. Then he said, what can I do for you? Well, I just bought a little cottage, and he was a builder, and I said I needed these bricks. Couldn't get them anywhere. Suffolk bricks. Saturday morning, a lorry came up. On the lorry was stacked with the 3,000 bricks I needed, and we offloaded them, and he gave me a really, really good price, and he was absolutely right. No problem from those lads at all. So it goes to show. Now I've been there about a year and things were really going well, and we had discos once a month, big discos, attracted lots of people from all around the area, and people used to smuggle in drink, I know, and get away drunk. But when I closed the disco at 11, if everyone went home, there was no problem. One night, after one of these discos, I heard a scream. I rushed to the toilet, and Nicky had gone round checking out the toilets, and my partner, and they'd attacked her, and she felt that they were going to rape her. So I knew they were 16-year-olds, 16, 17-year-olds, and I told them to go, and they left. The following night I went round to see the parents. So the first parent I went to, I knocked on the door, and the woman invited me in, and I told her what had happened, and she called in her son, and she gave him such a carpeting. She really gave him a carpeting, and he apologised, he was sorry, he had a drink, and he didn't know, he was really, 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 really upset, and mother God, she couldn't have been nicer and better. Proper mother, really gave him what for, and I was so appreciative of that. So from there I went to the next house to see the next parent, and there was the lad waiting for me. He said, I said, they're round the back. Okay. So I said, where's the back? He said, oh, down that alley down there. He said, I wouldn't go if I was you. And I said, why? He said, because my father and my brother are there and I've told them about you. And he said, they're going to give you such a hiding. Oh, I said, they are they? He said, yeah, they are. And he dared me to go down the alley. So I walked down the alley with him behind me. Can't say I wasn't a bit nervous, because I was. And I walked down the alley and I got there and I said, where are they? And he said, up those stairs. And I saw a light from the back door. So I walked up there and knocked on the door. And the door opened and there was a big man there. He looked at me, he said, yeah, what do you want? I said, I've come to see you. He said, what are you coming round the back for? I said, your son sent me round the back. He said, what? And then over his shoulder was his brother. He looked at me and said, oh, should you come round the back? I said, yeah. I said, he told me that you two were going to beat me up. He said, what? Beat you up? I said, yeah. So I called him in and he came in. By the time he was very sheepish. And then Dad called me in and said, what's the problem? So I told him what had happened at the disco night. And he went leery with his son. He said, how could you disgrace the family so? I brought you up better than that. And the brother, who was the older brother, he too went in there. And they both looked at me and they said, look, we're really sorry. This isn't something we do in our family. We are so ashamed. And, you know, if there's anything we can do. And the young lad said, look, older lad said, look, let's meet up for a drink. I owe you a drink. We've got to give you something. You know, we really appreciate it. And, you know, God, that was something. You coming around the back like that. And in the end, the three of us had a really good laugh with the perpetrator being very sheepish and very subdued. And the word got right the way around everywhere. You just don't mess, you know. And there are people around there. And I've always found if you go and see parents, have a talk with them, invariably it goes well. But not always. There was one young lad who'd been given a lot of mouth and a lot of chat, and got having a load of problems with him. He was aggressive and he was rude, and I thought, well, you really need sorting out. So I thought I'd go round to see Mum. So I knocked on the door one evening and there was his mother and there was him. And I explained, I said, look, we've got to do something about your son. He's just going off the rails and this really isn't good. And we, you know, they've got to put boundaries on him. And she listened for a minute and she said, it's none of your business. I said, well, you know, I've come here to help you. You know, I give you support. And I will give you support. I said, because he just needs, you know, taken in hand. Certainly not frightened of him. And you shouldn't be, you know. And she went for me. She said, get out. None of your business. You don't poke your nose in. I'll sort it out. And I said, well, you're not sorting it out. You need some help. And anyway, she told me to go. And as I went to the door, I turned and I looked at him and he picked up his mother, and they had low ceilings in Suffolk and these cold cottages, and he put her up in her head into the ceiling. I threw the plasterwork. I just looked. I thought, well, there's nothing I can do. And I thought, well, I'm not going to have you down the club. Anyway, he disappeared. About 6 months later, I was walking along Yarmouth Beach, and there he was sitting there with his dad, and he was so pleased to see me, and he introduced me to his dad, and we had a chat, and I thought, yeah, Dad's got control of the situation, nice guy. And Mum, you know, she had no respect for him, none at all. She was a silly woman. It's a shame. So there were three things in things that I were quite challenging. There were many others, but there's just a few I can recount now. Thank you.